Well, good late afternoon, tubers. We've got wet weather coming in. Well, since it's a wet day, I figured it'd be great to just crawl around under the truck today. I want to change the transmission fluid on this. I last changed it was last May. I changed it out, and I've done a lot of towing with this thing between using the utility trailer, taking stuff to the dump, and I picked that up last year, and then I had to tow it again because I blew the clutch line on it. And then we had another car that we picked up and then later hauled off for scrap. So I've done a lot of towing with it, and I drive this thing every day. I got a lot of miles on the transmission since the last fluid change, and I want to change out the fluid, especially with all the towing and stuff. I want to make sure she's fresh and check to see what's on the magnet. What's the shop kitty doing? What's the kitty doing? You got beer cans and all kinds of stuff around here, and she's just like, yeah, this is great. So anyways, for those of you that are new to this video, or new to this channel, I've had an M5OD-R2 in this truck since right around 26, I think it was end of 2016, middle of 2016, I put the 5-speed in, and along with a transfer case, so that later when I get the solid axle put in, it'd be 4-wheel drive. Well, this is where it's at. I think I've put just over 20,000 miles on this M5OD, and I usually change the fluid once a year. Alright, before we begin, I'm going to show you the wrong type of fluid that you can use in your transmission. You never ever want to use gear oil such as this in a transmission, like, you know, not just the M5OD, but you also don't want to use it in your ZF5. You want to run an ATF. So you can run Merc V. You can run Dex Merc or multi-vehicle ATF. I've run this in the M5OD-R1 in my Explorer and have not had any issues with it. But if you run gear oil like this, especially in the M5OD, it will ruin it, and I can actually show you why that is. This has got a fairly new oil slinger slash pump. It scoops up. What it does, it scoops up oil as you're going down the road, or with just the engine running, and this being full of oil, which you always want to make sure she's topped off real good. You don't want it to be low on oil, because what happens is this will fling oil up, particularly this gear right here. As this is going, it will fling ATF up, and it pulls up in here, and then you see the little tube right there. It flows through that tube, and it comes out this orifice right here, and when it does that, goes into this guy right here. You see how all this RTV is right here? We need to get that out of there. But that oil is going to flow in, and then it's going to come in between, well, actually I think it's going to come in here and in between these two dealios here. And this is where the flinger is going to sit, and it's going to suck up oil. It'll suck it up as it's spinning, and then what it does is it pulls it through, and then it feeds the pocket bearing that's in here. This is why you don't run gear lube in these M5ODs, or even ZF5s. You'll kill a ZF5, but you'll definitely kill an M5OD because it relies on that oil flow in here. And if you kill it, it's going to kill the pocket bearing, and then it's just going to destroy itself. So it's very important to just use ATF. Yeah, you can use Synchromesh or ATF. As long as it's a thin oil, it will flow just fine in here. The reason why you don't want to run gear oil is because it's too thick to run through the passages in the front cover of the M5OD, as I showed you in the last clip. So that's why you want to run Mercon V. I'm using a Swedish nut fucker here. have your drain pan ready. They're, you know, if these things are happen to stay full, you're gonna have a little bit come out just like that. Oh, she had quite a bit in her. Try not to make a mess. This is coming out really nice. This is all the stuff on the magnet. That's about the same as last time. I don't see any gigantic chunks of anything, so as long as you don't see, I mean, this is going to be normal. This is what you'd see in your automatic. Not bad. I'm feeling around for any metal particles, like, you know, part of a synchro or something. And I'm not feeling anything. I think this is gonna go right in my waste oil bucket, and we'll burn it later. So here's how I fill this thing up. I've got a 3/8 hose going into the fill port. Turn it up, over the frame, under the body, and then we'll zip tie it to the mirror, and then we'll put a funnel in it and then fill it up that way. Once it starts dripping, we'll just let this run down into the pan, and then I'll take the hose out and put the fill plug back in. One time I did this with a hand pump. I thought I was going to get carpal tunnel. I was like, no, there's got to be a better way. So I put this hose together, and you know, you can see how slow it drains, but you know what? I'd rather be standing here and just watching it go down, and then add a little bit, and you know, instead of constantly pumping, tearing your hand out, and like, that's just, nope, this is stupid. Put that in there. This bottle's almost done. She's not dripping yet. Still dripping. The hose is not very tight in that port there. So if it's gonna drip, she's gonna drip. Alright, it's dripping. So I'm gonna let that run. And then we'll go and put the fill plug back in, but she's dripping now. Okay, so we're gonna take the fill plug out first. And then we'll take that one out. But this one here, I should be able to fill up just by putting a gear oil bottle cap on my oil bottle, and we'll fill it that way. I actually use this transfer case pretty regularly, using low range for removing stuff in and around, and use it lots and lots in the winter. And it looks darker to transmission fluid. all this stuff is still always moving in here, so it's good to keep this thing fresh. Okay, let's let that dribble a little bit, and then we'll pull this guy. Oh yeah, she needed to be changed. Look at that. Oh man. It's a lot of driving to Central Oregon and towing and four-wheel drive and freaking snowy weather around here, and just, yeah, pretty well used. Good thing we changed it. I know I'm not wearing gloves again. I just got, yeah, whatever. Okay, I'm gonna let that dribble. And I think the last time actually when I filled this when it was out of the truck. I might take my hose set up here and run it through the frame and plug her in down there and fill her till she gushes. And we'll just tighten this until it's snug. They're tapered, so you don't need to go too hard on it. That ought to be good. And then we'll obviously leave the fill plug out so we can, oh, I don't know, fill it up. If this fuel tank wasn't in my way, I could actually get in there a lot better. It's almost full, actually. Now she's full. Well, that's how I do it anyways. Now we just tighten her up. And just snug it up. I just saw Adam. It's shifting nice and smooth now. Smoother. Or maybe it's the same. Maybe it's just a placebo effect. It's actually been shifting pretty good, but sometimes you can notice a little bit smoother shift when you have fresh fluid. But look, I'm not using the clutch. We got the transmission and transfer case changed up. The transfer case really needed it, that was for sure. So I'm glad we took care of that, because that transfer case I use quite a bit. When I'm moving trailers or something around, I use low range. Even sometimes backing out of a steep driveway, I'll throw it in low range and it saves the clutch. So I use it as my granny gear when I need it. Yeah. So transmission fluid for all the driving that I do over the course of not quite a year and a half, but getting close to it. The fluid looked pretty clean, and there was no big chunks of anything in the pan, and nothing on the drain plug magnet. So pretty happy about that. Everything is working fine. So now they got fresh fluids. Should be good to go for the winter time. Now, the next video that we'll do on this truck, got to change the gear lube in the rear differential. This is a Ford 9-inch, and these are kind of a pain in the ass to maintain. So in the next video, we'll go over how I change the oil in the Ford 9-inch. It's pretty easy. Still have to order a gasket, but it's better than some of the other methods that I've seen some people do. But it's the way I do it. It's very easy. It can be tricky, and you've got to be safe when you're doing it. So, but we'll go over that in the next video on this. Anyways, tubes, that's all I wanted to do today. Catch you next time.